Hi everyone, Vimeo 4. Now, this is the first real flashpoint or confrontation of the Cold War. Vimeos 1, 2 and 3, I've been trying to show you how the Cold War was beginning to develop. Europe was beginning to split into two camps, 1945, 46 and 47. Now we move to 1948, 49. And the one country where we get the first flashpoint was Germany, right in the center of Europe. Germany, defeated in World War II. Now, when Germany was defeated, the American and British and French soldiers moved in from one part of Europe. At the same time, the Russian soldiers moved in from the other side of Europe, and the German army was squeezed and squashed. And at the end of the war, the American and the British and the French soldiers are here, and they are faced with the Russian soldiers, face to face in Germany. Germany was a flashpoint. Now, what could they do? Well, there was an argument. Was Germany going to be in the American sphere of influence, or was it going to be in the USSR, the Soviet sphere of influence? They could not agree. Therefore, they came up with a temporary solution. They decided to divide Germany because they couldn't agree on what it would be as a united country. If it was a united Germany, would it be capitalist? Would it be communist? Would it have the martial aid? Would it not? They could not agree. So they divided Germany into four sections. One for France, one for Britain, one for America. Three friends. One for Russia or USSR. Now, Britain and America are friends. They join together. Their two zones, remember they're split into different areas or zones. The two zones, Britain and America, bizonia, two zones. Britain, France and America, trizonia, three zones together against the Russian zone. As well as dividing Germany, they also divided the capital city, Berlin, into four zones: France, Britain, America, and then Russia. So, Germany is divided, Berlin is divided. This was a temporary or short-term solution. But as time went on, we moved to 1948. It looks as if America and Britain and France are beginning to say, well, our zones, West Germany, we're going to make them into a country. They introduce a new currency, the Deutschmark. It looks as if West Germany is becoming a permanent country. Stalin is not happy. Why not? Any ideas? Have a think. Can't see a thing. Can't see a thing. Ray. Now, one of the ideas why Stalin would be unhappy, he does not want America spreading its influence. He does not want American soldiers in Germany. And all of the main economic resources are in the French, British, and American zones. So his zone is missing out. He's not happy. What would Stalin do? He can't fight America yet. He's not strong enough. Remember Berlin. Berlin divided into four. But Berlin, the whole of Berlin, was in the Russian zone. Therefore, Stalin has an advantage. For the Americans to get their supplies into their zones, they have to travel through the Russian zone. I wonder what Stalin might do. Correct. He introduces the Berlin blockade, June 1948. He closes all of the land, he closes the borders. The Americans can no longer use road, they can no longer use the rail, they cannot get their supplies in. The Berlin blockade. Stalin thinks he's done very, very well. What will President Truman decide to do? This is a challenge. Communism is challenging him. The Truman Doctrine. We will resist communism wherever it is. Well, here it is, threatening in Germany. If he applies the Truman Doctrine, he has to respond to Stalin's Berlin blockade. What can he do? I'm all ears. Meow. Meow. He can make silly noises. No, he can't. He can introduce the Berlin Airlift, and he can fly supplies across the Russian zone into Berlin. And that is what he did. This was the Truman Doctrine in action, resisting communism, the Berlin Airlift. Now, this was a huge undertaking, but America had the resources to do it. January 1949, for example, the Berlin Airlift had been going on for about 5 or 6 months at this time. America is landing 170,000 tons of material a day. They've got 3 airports. Sometimes there would be 4 planes landing every minute in these airports. The people on the ground could unload a plane in between 20 to 30 minutes. It was a massive undertaking. Stalin thought the Americans will never be able to keep this up. Truman thought, yes, we will. It was the first time that America and USSR are facing each other. There's no war, there's no fighting, but there's conflict, there is confrontation. The Berlin blockade and the Berlin Airlift, 48 to 49. Stalin thought America will never be able to afford it. Truman said, watch us. And it cost America roughly $350 million. But he kept going. He's showing the world America will not back down. Now it's looking bad for Stalin because he's been the aggressor. Truman has responded, but peacefully. It's a propaganda victory, in a way, for America, showing the world. And it also became a real victory, because in the end, Stalin thought, I've got to stop this. It's not working. He lifts the blockade. The Berlin Airlift. Come on. The Berlin Airlift was a victory for USA. How would that go down in the world at that time? May 1949, Stalin stops the blockade. September 1949, West Germany is created as a country. Germany was split. 1949, FDR, the Federal Deutsche Republic, a democratic Germany, West Germany as it was called, a new country was set up. September 49. October 49, East Germany is set up, the GDR. That very quickly, of course, became another satellite state for the USSR. It was set up as an independent country, but it was controlled by the communists, controlled by the USSR. Germany was divided. 1949. The first real confrontation of the Cold War. Now, because of this confrontation, many people in Europe were worried. They were worried that possibly it could lead to a war. Would it be an atomic war, a nuclear war? How would they respond next after this confrontation? Because something important happens as almost a direct result of this. And you know what it was? Watch Vimeo number 5. All the best then. Take care. Speak to you soon.